Hi everyone, Scrappy Kathy here with a layout share, and as you know, it has been a while since my last layout share. I've had some filming issues and some camera issues, light issues, tripod issues, you name it, and I have kind of been eking by the skin of my teeth doing the process videos, and I've just kind of let my layouts stack up. So I'm going to try to go through these as quickly as possible. Some of them have process videos, some of them do not, and I probably won't remember which as I go through, but I'll kind of try to tell you the products I used and any techniques, you know, kind of how I did things and if I can remember what they were for. This first one is a lift that I think is for Scrap Squad Sunday, which would have been on the 26th of November. So yeah, this has been a while. And I'm using here the Simple Stories Simple Vintage Lemon Twist. And it was a guest design kit I got from Scrapbook Your Joy. And I absolutely love all of the embellishments. I've used the puffy stickers, the like stickers for these tickets. I cut those in half and put them there. I fussy cut this bow, and I've used a tag from the ephemera pack. I fussy cut this from a cutout card, I think, and I added the flower, and you know, it's just been, this was a great kit. Not what you would think of as my style, but I absolutely love it, and I love everything I've made with it. So I'm gonna put this aside right here. This one I can see is kind of coming apart. I've got this little guy, and I can't, I think he went here. This was a, I used a sketch by Lisa Sikorsky, and I turned it on its side like that so that the semicircular part was up. And it was also a lift of her version of the sketch, her sample. Lisa is just a genius, both with the sketches and with her interpretations of her own sketches. She's just a beautiful scrapper. And so I took inspiration from the semicircle of Flair there. I also did a Craft Plus challenge, which was it's not Craft Plus. Well, it is Craft Plus. I did a Craft Plus challenge, which was the craft paper, and then there were animals. And so I've got animals all over the place in here. I took inspiration for some of their animals. But I'm also solving case number 372 for CSI, Color Stories Inspiration. And it's probably one of my favorite layouts ever. Again, not at all what you would think of as my go-to style, but I used this cut file from Redefine Creative, and I folded it. It was a circular cut file. I folded it up onto itself and then kind of lined it with Flair. I stopped here so that the frames and the stickers and word phrases could kind of take center stage. And I just love this page. I've got a lot of the clues, a lot of the wood and the airplanes and things like that came from the clues in the case file. So I'm going to put that aside. I'm actually going to put those in a different place. Okay. This one is a It's a lift of Scrappy Adam, and it was done for his 750 subscriber celebration. And I tried to use as much as I could of what he used. I used a lot of stamping as he did. I went with the green color scheme instead of his red one, but I had to throw in some red accents for the telephone booth and the double-decker bus. And I just had a blast doing this one, and there is a video on this, and you just look for the inspiration hop for his subby celebration. Okay, and then this one is a Scrap Squad lift. This was the original. It had the paper cut in half and then, kind of crisscrossing triangles. So I did crisscrossing triangles and did this one as that's the Scrap Squad lift. I guess I did this with leftovers from a kit that I had gotten. Actually, yes, this was the leftover. This layout was done with leftovers after I had done my design team layouts with the December main kit from my creative scrapbook. And it was the first one that was actually published, and there was a video, and none of the other layouts had been revealed. They're just now being, revealed. So this was kind of, I possibly shouldn't have used those supplies, but I did, and I love the result. Okay, this one is the first one I did when I got the Warm Wishes collection from Vicki Boutin, and I absolutely love it. I cut this piece of paper in half. Did I cut it in half? No, I didn't cut it in half. The original, Lisa's sketch, and then the Scrap Squad lift had two different pieces of paper. I actually took a piece of paper that had a print that was really busy up here, and then it got lighter as it went down here, and I put some strips of paper to make it look like it was two sheets of paper. That's what I did there. And this was a combination of, I forget which day, it was December 2nd, the second day of the 12 Days of Christmas Scrap Lifts. And I put an alligator in here because it's Allie and it's alligator. I love this photo, and I had forgotten that it even existed. So I just kind of started going through Christmas photos, and I kind of remember which ones I've scrapped. And I also remember which ones I just kind of stuffed into a Project Life book. This is another one with Warm Wishes, and it's a Scrap Squad lift that has, you can see the diagonal with the torn papers, and I did this one with lots and lots of Bramble Fox, the good read, and it was because Grandpa is sitting here reading The Gingerbread Man to Ava while she's sitting on his lap. And I just kind of did this one very, very more is more with Warm Wishes. And there's actually right here a large snowflake from Basic Gray. So there's all kinds of stuff in here. This one is this was a last minute redo. I did the wrong lift for Mixed Media Frenzy a couple weeks ago. And I'll show you the one that I did, I guess. Oh, well, yeah, it'll come later in the thing. But this was the one I was supposed to do. So I had fun doing this background. I kind of used a stencil and brushed some color. You can kind of see the dots there left from the stencil. And then I used water and a paintbrush to kind of spread the color around. And then I used some old papers and cut leaves, and their leaves are stitched. I kind of made some fake stitching on mine. I actually used a leaf template that JoJo Kelly put out as part of a Secret Not Secret Kit Club challenge, and I printed them directly on. I put the pattern paper in my printer and printed them on there, and then I used white pen to go over the black lines and make it look like stitching. And I used some of my oldest seasonal supplies here, and I have another alligator and another and a ladybug for Katie and Allie. Okay, this one is a Scrap Squad lift, and the original had these beautiful stitch stars, a couple of snowy kinds of photos, and kind of wintry greenery and snowflakes there with a few embellishments around. And I kind of did this with photos. I took inspiration from the green around there was green on the awning here and green on the sign there for Big John's Farm Market, and so that's how I picked the paper that would go behind my stars, and I made fake shaker pockets out of them with a few sequins kind of on the outside and on the inside. I used some stickers and I guess a lot of the stickers and the papers, nearly everything here except these snowflakes, came from the November My Creative Scrapbook Kit. And this was just a lot of fun to make, and I love how it turned out. I really, I like that one a lot. This one was done as a sample page for this sketch in Lisa Sikorsky's Scrap-A-Sketch Facebook group. She's running Sketchathon through the entire month of December. So I took this sketch, and this was my initial interpretation of it. You can kind of see that I took the background, the mixed media part, rather literally as waves of water, and I put a nautical photo, and I used supplies from Simple Vintage Coastal by Simple Stories, and I have a picture of me sitting on the boom of our sailboat back in 100 years ago. And I used Flare from the Vintage Coastal Flare set from a few months ago, and Dolphin Cove sequins, and I think a couple other sequin mixes from Spiegel Mom Scraps. Now this layout was done live on Scrap-A-Sketch, and I turned it this way and made a very different page from exactly the same sketch. I had these vinyl things that are supposed to go on windows, and I put them on a scrapbook page instead. Made a Halloween page because I hadn't scrapped the photo of my son dressed up as Ted Lasso. And you know, you got to do that. When your son dresses up as Ted Lasso to hand out candy to the neighborhood kids who have no idea who Ted Lasso is, you know, you just got to put him on a scrapbook page. And I used a Tim Holtz stencil to go over my streaks of color there. So, and I kind of did the wavy streaks of color as an homage to the, you know, kind of the bendy branches here. This one is another scrapbook or Scrap Squad lift, and the original was this pretty pink and aqua page that's just absolutely beautiful. It's done using non-Christmassy supplies. It's actually a springtime collection. but making a Christmas page with it. So it's just a beautiful example of that. And there were two other examples. I kind of drew inspiration from this one that had the tree made up of these stars. That's a cut file, but I decided that I could make my tree of flare, and then I color matched John's sweater to this lumberjack plaid paper that has a little bit of a sheen to it. You may be able to see that. And I used nearly every Christmas flare I had, or at least one from every Christmas set that I have, including I double layered some flare here for my hanging ornaments down the side. And then I used an XL flare as the trunk for the tree. So I've got sleeping sloths, and I've got candy and cookies and lights and trees and snowflakes and holly berries and gifts, and I don't know what those are, and more florals and greenery. I just love this. And all of this came, and this, the sticker elements all came from the November main scrapbooking kit from my creative scrapbook. So as you can tell, I think I got 6 or 7 layouts out of that kit, full layouts using nothing but the kit, and then I've been able to mix in the leftovers with other kits. So I'm very happy with how far that has gone. This is a scrap backwards layout using it's a series I do with Adam Westwood, or AKA Scrappy Adam, and we both used Lisa's sketch from Scrap-A-Sketch, where you have half one sheet of paper, half another, and then you've got a kind of a square cluster in the middle. So I pretty much stuck with that. And I actually used the Happy Holidays prompts from Dottie About Flair to use water, 4 pattern papers, and silver. And so this is my page. Here's the one where I took the sheet of paper and just cut it in half and then taped it with washi tape in the back, and then used a border strip. And this is using my Scrap Backwards kit, which is based on a basic gray sticker sheet from the Eskimo Kisses collection. So I wet down some ink with water and made these kind of pink splatters. I don't know if you can see those. And there and down here. And then silver is here, and what else? 4 pattern papers, easily, that's there. So this was all kind of scraps, and this was left from a Mind the Scrap kit, I think, and so were this heart. This was cut from a Bramble Fox die. This was a sticker from my inspiration sticker sheet, my Scrap Backwards kit, because it depicts a snowy village, and this was our snow village. And we're getting ready today, at this late date, we have company coming over, and we're gonna kind of all get together and put together the village, most of the village. I've got some pieces of it distributed elsewhere. We don't have a table quite this big, but we're gonna lay down some snow and put up everything we have. And these icicles and this snowflake are also from Bramble Fox. Okay, so that goes over there. This is a layout I really loved doing, and I wasn't sure. I made some choices, and then about halfway through I thought, did I really want to do that? And then at the end I actually kind of fell in love with it. This was the original. There was a tie across here. It was a cut file that had stars, and they backed it with some strips of paper so that you could see some stars were half one strip and half the other. And I'm not quite sure where I got the inspiration to use this pre-made mixed media page from Vicky Boutin, but everything else is warm wishes, except this little guy is from that kit, the kit that my creative scrapbook kit, and this stamp and Everyday Ordinary Life are from previous Vicky Boutin collections. I've got flair here associated with the hanging stockings. I've got green splatters all over the place, kind of lime green there. I really love this paper, and I love the circle cut out of it, and I do know what made me choose that paper was this sky in this photo that James took of the neighborhood the other day when the sky was especially pretty. And I mean, I just love it. We've got the turtle with my stocking. We've got the ladybug with Katie's stocking, the alligator for Allie's, the bee for Barrett's, and because James took the sunset picture, he gets the sunset flare to go with his stocking, and then the squirrel is for baby squirrel, aka Ava, and the paw is for Reese. So everybody, even Reese has a stocking on here. So that's a happy Christmas page. I like it. And it also solved case number 375 with CSI. And it had prompts of water, 4-pound papers. Well, no, that was yesterday's. I'm not always the best at keeping up with what challenges I'm doing. This one was a different kind of page for me. I had this was the original. There was a cut file and a photo and some embellishments kind of off to the side. Absolutely gorgeous, done by Marcia Dean Nix. And it's the prompts were cut file, stars, and banners. So I made banners out of some packaging, and those are right here. This background sheet is from Fernwood, as are the embellishments. And I actually was playing with the idea of using this digital frame. I've used it on several layouts, but I thought it would really look good on here and kind of bring in the orange that's in the robin's breast and in the orange trees and this flare. I just kind of had some fun with that, and I splattered the cut file and I backed it with this backing paper is from Warm Wishes. So I've mixed Warm Wishes and Fernwood here, and just made a perfect page to showcase this photo of Scout. We had built kind of a deep windowsill for him so he could look out, and it was on a really snowy, icy day, and so he was up there, and you know, I miss him. He was a good kitty. He was John's kitty, though, for sure. This is another Scrap Squad lift. Their original had 4 ornaments, one of which was a photo. I did pretty much that same thing. I added in the stars and the flare, and I used the little foam stickers on the front of the advent calendar envelopes from Dottie About Flair. So I've got all kinds of flair I'm representing flair here, including these custom flair, the ladybugs made for Katie and the alligator made for Allie. And their photo is of Katie and Allie out on a fall day. This one is the original was it was a grid turned this way, and I turned it this way because my photos were landscape. And I only had 3 photos, so I put them in place there, and then I added other elements to fill out the grid. And all of these elements Well, this and this and this, I think, and these two things came from that My Creative Scrapbook kit. And then I've used some Warm Wishes, and I don't know where those papers came from. Probably also from that kit. So there's a lot of that kit in here, but I also got the stars from Warm Wishes. So this was fun to do. It was just kind of a photo of John putting together a basketball goal that Barrett had gotten for Christmas. And you can see Barrett's head right here. He was sitting with James playing with his other toys, and then John finishes, and he's, you know, I'm sure there was some implied help that was going to be given, but he ended up doing it all himself because Barrett and James were playing. So that's kind of the story that's being told there. This one is the one that I did. This was the Mixed Media Frenzy page that I did a week early. It wasn't due until later. So this has, let's see if I have the original. I do have the original. It's back here. It had bright colored papers and light colors kind of coming down, and then the photo in the middle of all of it. I did this paper. This is gosh, I guess Cocoa Vanilla Joyful, and it's, when I rolled it up, it showed that teal underside, which I thought was beautiful. But I continued the color of the closest star to the roll. So the gold star, the pink star, and I added sequins to the colors, because the colors didn't come out as vividly or as saturated as I might have wanted. But it's a great photo of Ava on her phone, all covered up and snug, and with Reese kind of curled up in her lap. And it's kind of a ho 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 sort of photo. And I love the Bramble Fox title, the Warm and Cozy, and I thought the color was perfect to go right here in this pink line. And I had some Spiegel Mom Scrap sequins. All of these, if you watch the video, I tell you what the sequin mixes are, but all of those are Spiegel Mom Scraps. Okay, and this one is that it's a 12 days. Yeah, it's a, I recognize this, I think, as Missy Whidden's daughter, so I'm assuming this is a Missy Whidden layout. And she does a beautiful job of mixed media behind a cut file here. And I used mixed media as well, but I stenciled using a leaf stencil from Bramble Fox. And then I cut a wreath kind of 3/4 of the way, and then used the rest of the pieces to kind of layer on those, and just kind of did my more is more, and then splattered it all with white paint. And I used pieces of a cut file. I took the cut file, and cut it in 3 pieces. This one, and this one. And I think there may be another small piece around there somewhere. But just had a grand old time. This I have a couple flares, one there and one here. And I think there's one over in this, yeah, right there. And they pick up, these 2 flares pick up on that kind of aqua teal mint green. I'm going to call it aqua mint because I really love it. And then this one has some stripes that include the pinks as well as the aquas. This is probably one of my favorite pages that I've ever done. I love it. And I love the photo of John and Katie. And before I put this in the album, there's going to be a Katie a ladybug added, because I always do that. This next one was one that was done live on Twilight Craft and Crop Facebook page for their Christmas celebration, where they had challenges and lives each day for the first 12 days of December. And I did the challenge for this one as well as the live. And my challenge was all about, it was called the selfie challenge, and you were to scrap lift yourself, any layout that you liked, that you wanted to, that you had made. Use a different color scheme, use a photo of yourself, and turn the design some way, sideways, upside down, backwards, whatever. So this is the layout that I lifted. Am I off? Do I need to move these things back this way? I hate that I may have been off camera, and I apologize for that. I may have moved some things around. So this was the original layout. It was a digital layout, and this, you can see I had used that same frame that I used, and then I used it again here. So I turned it on its side, and then I moved the photo cluster up, and I used a panel of 3 frames instead of this one big one. And instead of one big long picture, I had a square picture, and then I embellished kind of in the same places, but not necessarily. So, and at the same time, I was actually doing the Craft Plus challenge, picking up on, this was the mood board, I picked up on the glasses here, the wine glasses, and some of the florals. And so I have my champagne glasses there. This was, this photo was taken Thanksgiving Day when James took me out. All the kids were scattered, and so James took me out to brunchy lunch, I guess, at a place called Crew that was one of our favorite, John's and my favorite date night places. And as you can see, one of the things that was awesome about it is that it has heaters by every table out on the patio. So even on cool days, you can be perfectly comfortable dining al fresco. We actually ate inside because on that day it was maybe a little cool and breezy, and maybe getting ready to be rainy. So anyway, I used Bramble Fox title and this Remember panel, which I thought was the perfect color to kind of match the color of his vest after I'd edited that. This one was a fun one to make. I had no idea where it was going, but and I just assembled some oddball mismatched pieces. There's a lot of Rosie Studio vellum florals in there. These are from Mimosa Sunday. This is a flare that was designed by Catherine Ronson, who is a design team member at Dottie About Flare. And these little X's are from the Dottie About Flare Bramble Fox collaboration set. This is from a school, an education-related set, but I just like the color green. And this purple plaid was from a purple set. So, and it kind of, I've got purple in the typewriter here, and purple in this flower, and in this flower too. So this was kind of fun. It was, meant to be. This is an upside down beehive right here. So I used lots of junk on this one, and I'm happy with it. And someone tells me that this is a Simple Stories frame set. I must have gotten it in a Mind the Scrap kit. And this is a 49 and Market square stitched frame. And I like these so well, I've ordered some more. Okay, we're on to this one now. This is a goofy page. The Scrap Squad lift had this line of ornaments at the top of the page and a couple tassels down here and a photo with a frame around it. So instead of ornaments, I went with snowflakes. And in the photo that I took of this, you can't really see the snowflakes, even though they're raised up, and I had hoped that you can't see the white snowflakes, the white on white. I've got like 3 background papers here. This is a really pretty floral Christmassy paper that has some coral and orange in it. You don't find much at Christmas time that has orange in it. And these snowflakes are actually kind of an orangey red. So I used lots of my peppermint flares here, and I let that suffice and kind of stand in for those guys. I've got a goofy photo, another frame, possibly from that same kit that I got those frames from. I used the Sleepy Sloth decorating the holly tree for this goofy photo of my son with a tiara on his head, peeking through the curtains. When Allie moved in with us, she is living in what used to be our dining room. And so the big arched entry into the dining room was meant to be a grand view of the dining room as you walked in the house. Was actually a view into her bedroom. So we used some old IKEA curtains that I had in the kids' room at the house we lived in before this one, the house we lived in before, our little 100-year-old cottage. And they're just a vivid, gorgeous, bright orange. And so James is peeking through the orange. It just made a great photo. And Barrett was standing on the other side and snapped the photo. So this was a fun page, and I used all kinds of goodies. I think there's a video of that one. This one is the lift, the original lift was, Monica Leakey did this page for my creative scrapbook, actually. And it has a panel of like a photo with some embellishments on either side, and then a little village and a title down below. So I thought, okay, let's do, there's the village aspect. I put 2 houses. And then I had this photoplay paper that has penguins decorating, and they're all upside down with the lights and so forth. And I had another photoplay collection that had this little, it's a snowman in a cone, like an ice cream cone, and he's decorating and looking up into the sky. And when I saw that paper at our local scrapbook store, John said, "Oh, look, a snow cone." And I just laughed at that. And I'd been hoarding the paper because I didn't want to use snow cone, but I did it. I used it on a page about him, and on one of his very last good, lucid, happy days. This was my birthday last year. And I've used, I think that's from Fernwood. That's from Fernwood. That's definitely Fernwood. Lots of Fernwood. Fernwood mixed with photoplay. Goofy photo. I think photoplay, I forget what the 2 collections are with photoplay, but this was, and this was this guy, John loved penguins, and this guy was cut from an advent calendar bag from Redefine Creative last year or the year before. So that one was fun. This is the first design team page I made with the December main kit for my creative scrapbook. And the emphasis this month was on using multiple photos on a page. And so the sketch had these, it's a Laura Whitaker sketch, it was great, had 4 tags with photos, a photo on each tag. So I turned it on its side because of the orientation of my photos. And instead of ribbons, I used die cut from scraps of the paper. And I fussy cut that, had a little fussy cut envelope. This title, I thought about painting white, but then I thought it might show up better like this, and it kind of reflects some of the darker colors that are in the photos. And the brown, at the bottom of the sleigh here. So this was a fun one to make also. This was a fun series of photos. I think it was 2010. Yeah, it was 2010. And this was the tree at our house, and they were here visiting this grandparents' house, having come from their other grandparents' house. So this was fun. Okay, here's another solution to case number 375, and this was a scrap backwards page. It uses my scrap backwards kit, which again was based on that basic gray sticker sheet from the Eskimo Kisses collection, and that's where I got this background paper is Fancy Pants, and I think it's called Arctic Chill. Goes back many, many years. And the colors of these ornament stickers just kind of blended in with all of these colors so perfectly. This little guy was cut off of a thank you for your business tag that came in some stuff that Adam had ordered and that I kind of consolidated with other orders and mailed back to him. So I stole this from Adam, so don't tell him. And I used an XL flare here, and I think that may be my only flare. Oh, nope, I have a blue flare right here under one of those X's and some little curly twine. But I used quite a few stickers from my inspiration sheet for Scrap Backwards here. Oh, there's another flare. And just, stuff out of the extras bowl. I even used a rub-on from a Fancy Pants, gosh, I forget, a Saint Nick collection, which is one of my favorite Christmas collections ever. So that was lots of fun. I love this page because I absolutely love that paper. I've been hoarding it, but this is the page I was saving it for. Okay, and here is the Mixed Media Frenzy for yesterday. And I've got some journaling that I had taped to the back because I couldn't find a place on the front that I wanted it. I didn't want it to cover up this mixed media. I did the mixed media with Ken Oliver's Color Bursts, and this was the original, and it's probably packaging technique kind of dipped in watercolors or maybe oxide inks. And I wanted brighter colors, and I wanted this explosion of color like we have right here because of the lights that are being reflected in the window that I took the photo through. And these baskets here, which I have an homage to them in this basket weave flare, these baskets are on this opposite wall of the restaurant. I was sitting right by this window and took this. And there's a store there called Scout and Molly's, and you've already met my cat Scout, who is no longer with us. And so I like the name of that store, and it's actually kind of a cool store. I used an XL flare here, and this is a grunge, this is night skies, and this is basket weave, all from the December release. And all of the embellishments are from Fernwood. I doodled these leaves through a stencil from Bramble Fox. So that's the last of what I've to show you. This was Friday's. Let's see, I'm talking to you on Saturday. I have done another layout, and then I've also shared a design team layout that I did for my creative scrapbook, and I'll save those for my next layout share. So thank you for watching, and I appreciate your following me. I appreciate all the comments, all the love on Instagram. You have no idea how much you guys have meant to me, especially this past year when it's been a little bit hard to get back into things. And I want to wish you all, whatever holidays you celebrate this season, a happy, happy, happy holiday, and just a really blessed and awesome new year. So I'll see you for my next layout share after the first of the year. So bye.